And with the first overall pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the Miami Heat select Adnan Jesus Duman from the University of Tampa. All right, snap back to reality. Anyway, so the NBA draft just happened last night, and there was a lot of interesting picks that happened, and with that, some interesting storylines, heading into free agency and the offseason. So let's discuss about it. So the first overall pick, obviously the Spurs selected Victor Wembanyama. We don't need to discuss much about him. Like, we already know he's a generational talent. He's been looked at for several years now, ever since he was cooking Rudy Gobert. A multiple time defensive player of the year, and how respected he is, and the fact that this kid just took him on, like, NBA scouts fell in love with him ever since. So and with that, like, leading up to the draft, he's been getting like a ridiculous amount of expectations, and the pressure on him is unbelievable. Like, now, like, being drafted to the Spurs with arguably the greatest coach ever in Greg Popovich, like, this guy has no excuse anymore. Like, you can't say because the franchise is no good. You can't say because of lack of skill or anything. No, people are comparing him to LeBron James in terms of how big of a prospect he was. And when LeBron got drafted, he was being interviewed saying if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's going to be a bust. So imagine being compared to that level of expectations with arguably the greatest coach of all time. Like, he's got to have a thick skin, through his NBA career. Like, because obviously, he'll have some struggles at first. I mean, like most young guys do, so like, he's got to be able to handle the pressure. Like, my main concern with him is just his health, not necessarily on him particularly, but more because of recent history with, like, big guys being tall and skinny, like a Chet Holmgren, what happened last year, how he was out for the entire season before it even began. So as long as he stays healthy and he keeps his head down and focus on the game, which I'm sure he would, I think he'll be, like people say, a generational talent. But my main concern is just health. That's my main concern with him. Just given the history of, like, big guys, tall and skinny guys that, can't stay healthy on the court. So that's just my main concern. Now, moving on to the second pick, the Charlotte Hornets selected Brandon Miller. So I wonder, is it the right choice? Yes, people say he's a great fit, but, like, how many times for most NBA teams do you always go best fit or best available talent? Because, and I'm not saying this as a knock against him, this is just purely an example. Like, the Blazers back in '84, they selected Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. The Blazers needed a big guy, so they drafted one. But they passed up on a generational talent, Michael Jordan, and look what happened to them. They ended up paying the price for it. And same with 2007 with picking Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. So I don't know. I'm not saying, like, Brandon Miller is going to be a bust. I'm sure he can be a great player if he keeps his head in the game. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I really like Scoot Henderson. I feel like he's a generational talent, in my opinion. And we'll see what happens. So speaking of which, that's who the Blazers selected with the next overall pick. And like I said, I really like the pick. I think he's going to be someone special. I like how determined and how gritty he is, how he was willing to graduate high school a year early so he can join the G League and be able to focus on developing his NBA career, which is very impressive, and that shows he really cares about trying to make it to the league and is serious about basketball. So that impressed me a lot about him. But with that being said, with the Blazers picking Scoot Henderson, not trading him, I'm kind of concerned now, like, what is Damian Lillard going to do? Is he actually going to stay? Is he going to, like, stay loyal to the franchise, or is he going to finally want to trade out? Because he said he didn't want to play with another 19-year-old, and that's what probably most likely ended up happening. So I don't know. If I'm a Blazers fan, I am very concerned heading into the offseason. And if Damian Lillard means what he says, I'd be concerned if he's going to end up requesting a trade. But that's just my opinion on that. So with the 4th and 5th overall pick, the Rockets and the Pistons, respectively, select the Thompson brothers. So the Rockets selected Amen Thompson, who's a great offensive-minded player, very athletic, and he can kill you on the perimeter just with his quickness and the athleticism to get to the rim, which is very important and huge. I believe that's going to be a great foundational play style. But, like, if he can develop and keep building on, like, his shooting, I think he'll have a long career. because we've seen athletic guards, have that bag of tricks, but like they don't last long due to their health. So let's see if he can build on that. And the Pistons selecting Asir Thompson, who is also known for his finishing, but also is great on defense, which I believe is a perfect fit for the Pistons, because the Pistons are known, especially during the championship runs with the Bad Boy Pistons and the '04 Pistons, on defense. That's what they were known for. They were a great defensive team, and so with Asir Thompson being a great defender, I believe it's a perfect fit for the Pistons in that culture over there. And with his passing abilities, I believe it's going to be great also to take pressure off Cade Cunningham, that he doesn't have to like run the floor every single time, that Asir can take some of that pressure off. So I believe it's a good pick for both teams, and let's see who goes from there. Maybe they just might be the greatest twin brothers to play in NBA history. We'll see. And so with the next pick, the Orlando Magic had 2 picks in this year's draft, the 6th overall pick and the 11th overall pick. And they selected Anthony Black and Jett Howard, the son of Juwan Howard. Now, the Magic, what they needed size, they needed more depth on the forward side. They already have a lot of guards in Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs. And what do? They draft both guards again for both of their picks, which doesn't make sense to me. This reminds me too much of in the mid-2010s when the Magic had an unbelievable amount of forwards, and they just keep drafting like forwards and big guys, like in no sense of direction. I'm like, there's no balance with the organization. I didn't understand that. Now we're seeing it again with different management. I don't know. To me, like, this doesn't make sense. Like, now this answers the question: what are they gonna do? Are they gonna trade Markelle? Are they going to trade Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs, or some of them is going to be demoted to the bench or off the rotation? Because I thought Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs were the future, but apparently to the Magic they're not. So I don't know. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I thought this was their chance to actually take a leap with Paolo, but it looks like they don't. It's very incompetent. I'll just say that. I don't know why they don't balance out the roster, like in that aspect, given what they need to win now. So I don't know, it is what it is. Then the next notable pick is the Thunder selecting at 12 with Derek Lively II. I believe he's a great center, and he's a great rim protector, something a lot of teams need, especially given the finals with Jokic and his performance. So I believe like the Thunder have something good, and they can build around Shea with that pick, and Derek can be someone very special. And then the Raptors with the next overall pick selected Grady Dick. He's an amazing shooter. Sort of reminds me of Tyler Hero, in the aspect he can create his own shot. And I believe he can be a huge help to Scotty Barnes, and if they still stay, OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. And he could be a great replacement for Fred VanVleet to take care of the shooting problems if Fred VanVleet leaves. Then with the next notable pick, in my opinion, the Miami Heat select Jaime Vasquez Jr. He is a great defender from what I've seen. He has a chip on his shoulder, being low in the top 100 ranking, and very similar to Heat culture, how in this year's finals run, they had a lot of undrafted players, guys who are trying to prove themselves, and this guy, he's trying to prove himself that he is a great pick, and that he deserves, more recognition, and just to be up there with the top guys in the draft. So I believe it's going to be a good fit for the Heat, and Pat Riley has done really well in recent drafts, with Tyler Hero, and then drafting Nikola Jovic, who they need to play, hopefully starting this season. And we're going to go a little bit further back with Bam Adebayo. So I do believe he can be a great pick, especially given his mental toughness. And I believe it's going to go well. Then the last couple notable picks from the draft would be Cam Whitmore. I believe he could be the steal of the draft because he has an amazing build, and he's a great defender. He just needs to develop his offensive game. But like having the size and strength of an actual NBA player to be ready, I think it will be amazing. Now all he needs to do is just stay healthy. That was the main reason why he fell off in the draft, was because of his medical concerns. But I believe like he'll be in great shape, and if he can just keep focusing on just staying fit and staying right, I think he'll end up being the steal of the draft. And then finally, the last notable pick will be the 27th pick with the Hornets selecting Nick Smith Jr. I don't know what happened to him. Like I thought he was gonna be the guy that I've seen him being like the top 3, top 4, like last year in the mock drafts for the 2023 season. But like now it's like he fell all the way down, you know, as a pure scorer. Most of the teams select defensive-minded players. So I believe that's Nick Smith. I think he'll have a chip on his shoulder, and like now he's gonna want to prove everybody wrong that passed him up to be an amazing player. You know, like a Nikola Jokic, like a Jimmy Butler. You know, all these other guys that were drafted really late. I believe he can do amazing things, in my opinion. So, yep, that's about it. So thank you guys so much. Have an amazing day. God bless you all, and let's go Heat.